Indiana
No,
Pacers. The Indiana Pacers.
Sam, nobody from Kansas is watching this right now.
Oh no, I'm talking about the one that's talking to me right now.
I know.
The Indiana Pacers. This one's like kind of simple to me. Tyrese Halliburton is on the Supermax deal now. Miles Turner has 1 year, $20 million. I don't think that deal is extendable for what it's worth. Andrew Nembhard, I think, has become like a serious part of their core after what we saw in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Jarris Walker and Ben Mathurin, two top 8 picks. I'm sorry. Awesome players or awesome prospects, at least, that could become awesome players. Aaron Naismith, they have on an awesome 3-year, $33 million deal. Ben Shepherd for 3 more years. TJ McConnell has that 1 year, $9 million deal that is extension eligible. They have Obi Toppin, who's a restricted free agent. They have, Jalen Smith, $5.2 million player option. They have 1 year left on Isaiah Jackson. They have 3 second-round picks. All comes down to Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam's max deal is also 5 years, $245 million. I think Shams said on the FanDuel show that he does that the plan, it seems, is to offer him the max. I think if they offer him the max, he takes it. And, that's the offseason, right?
Yeah. I mean, they have to offer him the max. You can't do what they just did and then play around with this thing. So you offer him the max. I would assume they have a pretty good feeling that he's going to take. I remember when that trade happened, wasn't it Miles Turner that Siakam was had some sort of relationship, like a stretch big that he liked the idea of playing with? And then obviously with Tyrese Halliburton as well. I like some of these other guys. I thought Ben Shepherd gave them real minutes in the playoffs that were productive and looked good. You brought up Mathurin. I think the one thing here is I wonder if they end up letting Obi Toppin go in restricted free agency, and unless there's just not a real deal in place, because he kind of is jamming things up for Jarris Walker right now. And I would assume they want to try to get Jarris Walker on the floor next year.
I think that's probably right. I would imagine that they probably just end up, maybe they keep the rights just to see if there's a sign and trade that they can do, right? Because they're going to be an over the cap team. So you might as well, see if there's something there.
Yes.
Right.
I just if the Pistons threw a bag at Toppin because they do need that kind of archetype, I could see the Pacers not matching. I could see that being a situation where restricted free agent, offer sheet, not matched. We wish you the best, but we got a kid waiting in the wings to come in and play these minutes.
Yep. Makes total sense to me. I don't know that I see Toppin on the Pacers next year unless they offer him the qualifying offer and he just takes it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's, I guess, not implausible that could happen to keep his restricted free agency rights. And he's just screw it. I'm going to take this number maybe, but that'd be.
What's the QO for him?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. I should have grabbed this ahead of time. I just didn't. It's not impossible, I don't think, I guess. But the other thing that Indiana here is for me is look, I think TJ McConnell, you look to see what he wants in an extension. You explore that. If it's reasonable, to me, reasonable is probably 12 to 13 million a year. I do that because he's the best backup point guard, one of the best backup point guards in the league. If not, then, you have him for 1 more year and you're happy to kind of see that out. Jalen Smith, $5.2 million deal. Jalen Smith leaving off of that player option would also open up minutes for Jarris Walker as well, which would mean you could still have both Obi and Jarris.
Sure.
Something along those lines, right? But yeah, this is the reason I wanted to do these, all together and talk about Indiana with Cleveland is because I knew Cleveland was exciting, and Indiana, it just seems is Siakam, and then we're diving into worlds where they could potentially bring together all of their young players and do a star move. And I don't know if they're going to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I do find myself not wanting Indiana to just rest and chill. Hey, we made the Eastern Conference Finals. We're going to come back and we're going to do it again next year and then never get back there. Cause that's really hard to do. But I don't think I want them to do something crazy this offseason either. I think what I'd rather see them do is Hope you see a jump from Tyrese Halliburton, or at least see him get back to the pre-injury. We
Yeah.
saw it a little bit in the playoffs, but let's get back to that. Is what we saw from those 2 games in Andrew Nembhard, is that what he can be for 82 games and then into the playoffs playing off of Halliburton? Does the Turner, Siakam, all of that combination, how good can Jarris Walker be? Like you said, Neesmith does some good things. Like, let me see that for half a season. And then if you're really making a push, okay, let's go find a star. Or, man, maybe we way overachieved last year and we need to reset some things. I just don't think I would do it in the summer, but I would like this front office to be ready to be aggressive if things kind of click and there's a move to be made.
You have Nembhard, Walker, Mathurin, Ben Sheppard, all of whom are intriguing long term. You didn't give up all of your draft capital in order to get Siakam, obviously, which is really important. You do still have 3 second-round picks this year as well. You have a number of future picks down the road. Yeah, I think that they're in an intriguing position now where
because 2 of those first round picks conveyed this year, right? In that trade. So there's one outstanding that's top 4 protected. So they even have their own in 2025. So yeah.
Yep. No, they have one more outstanding and that's it to Toronto. They have future picks they can move. Like they are really well positioned to make a star move. Yeah. And I would imagine that there would be a lot of excitement coming to play with Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner.
Yeah.
Like point blank. That is an awesome trio to inject a star into, because that you have space on the interior with Turner being able to shoot, and you have Tyrese Halliburton who's going to get these guys the ball wherever and whenever they want the ball. So you're going to get paid if you play with this team.
And just the style of play has to be intriguing for a lot of the players in the league. And quite frankly, like, listen, we all know what the East was this year and the injuries and all that. I was nervous about whether this play style could play out in the playoffs. Like, were they going to be able to go win playoff games? And they did. Like, and then I don't care sometimes. Like, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals with Halliburton not always being his best and like being hurt for a couple. So I think the proof of concept was proven a little bit in the playoffs. So I think players and agents and whatever should trust that a little bit.
So the easy positional fit here is a wing of some respect.
Agreed.
Right. I haven't heard them a ton with Brandon Ingram, and I don't think Ingram fits this play style particularly.
I don't either. Yeah.
But I don't like if you wanted like a second half court creator, I don't like pairing him with Siakam. I think that's a really bad idea.
Yeah. I saw enough from Siakam in the playoffs whenever the things got bogged down and they needed to go to him in the half court that I wouldn't feel the need to do that.
So here's the other one. A defensive wing in Victor Aquawo brings up in the comments. Mikal Bridges on this team would be sick.
Yeah. As he says, that would go crazy. And yes, Victor, that would go crazy. Agreed.
That would be actually like the perfect fit there to me. They should really try to get involved in a Bridges deal.
They're going to
see like
they this is why, though, right? Like they get out.
Yeah, like what? So it'd depend, right? This is why the Mikal Bridges, people will complain about like, oh yeah, like Houston, has to offer all this, and this, right? X, Y, and Z. Indiana, like, should offer Jarris Walker and Ben Mathurin for Mikal Bridges, right? Like, that's 2 past top 10 picks. Because if they get Mikal Bridges, they are a top 2 team in the East, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, Hallie, Bridges, Siakam, Turner with Nembhard even close to what we saw and are projecting is an insane starting 5. And in that world, you still have McConnell off the bench, Ben Sheppard off the bench, Isaiah Jackson off the bench. Like it doesn't crush your depth. So you still have enough depth to make it work too. Yes, that's a sick team.
So that's why I say like Houston like couldn't get it done just offering Jalen Green probably, right? No. Because like yes, like I guess that I shouldn't say that. If the Nets like just loved Jalen Green, right? Maybe that would get it done. But say the Nets liked Jarris Walker a lot in the draft last year, or liked Ben Mathurin quite a bit. There's a very good chance they would value that over having to pay Jalen Green a lot of money in the future, right?
Yeah.
So that's why the bidding on a Bridges deal gets so high, like all the time, so quickly. It's because a team like Indiana has multiple assets and Bridges is the perfect player for them, like point blank.
I mean, he's
So
for a lot of teams.
yeah. Yeah, like that's really the only thing worth talking about with Indiana. Again, they're pretty locked in to what they have at this point. But they have real mechanisms to make a leap moving forward, and that's the important part.
Yep. They put themselves in really good position.
They are as well positioned as you will find an organization in the league right now, in my opinion. Outside of like the Celtics or like Dallas is well positioned right now for sure because they have a really good team and they have Luka. Indiana's probably more flexible than Dallas moving forward, but they aren't as good, right?
Sure.
So yeah, it will be very intriguing to see what they decide to do moving forward